Hello there. Anyone, whatever, whoever shows up. Um, as it continues, um, being targeted, harassed, whatever you want to call it, gang stalked. In the description, I have presented some links to pages that provide patents and information regarding remote neural monitoring, voice to skull technology, or V2K. It's always the consensus usually when someone comes in here to troll that prove it, blah, 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 doesn't exist, this and that. Well, as a rule, they don't display patents and provide patent information on devices that don't exist. This isn't sci-fi. It's not. It's not an imagined epidemic, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a singular entity in this. Many individuals are perpetrated against in this fashion and in an ongoing attempt to ruin, destroy people, whatever their main goal is, kill you, whatever. As I said, I try to present proof and factual evidence. Well, those are pages presenting factual evidence of these inventions, this technology that exists, that they use to invade a person's psyche, whatever, to manipulate, harass, defame, cause virtual torture to an individual on a daily, ongoing basis. Now, what the inventions were initially designed for, or who, or the primary functions that they were, comprised for, might not have at all been for purposes of, harassment, surveillance, information gathering. Might have been, in effect, some of them for, medical purposes, or weeding out terrorists. The agendas are unclear to me, probably as to anybody else. But what has happened is, with the prolific nature and the technologies being easily accessible now, criminal syndicates of gang stalkers, groups of people that, have the intent to harm others, are using them. They're readily accessible. It's not like if you have the money, you can't purchase them. Let's say you're a corporation that wants to do corporate espionage, or a group of individuals that just want to ruin someone's life, that it's readily accessible now. As is like Audio Spotlight, B2K represents the same sort of abilities, to where they focus on a target, and only that target is privy to the harassment. A person can be in the same, in a crowded room and be the only person that's being affected. It doesn't pretty much doesn't matter whether you permit this, or even, have any desire for this, which they don't. Um, they do it anyway. Um, there's a case in Massachusetts I was just looking at that was emailed to me about about a corporation. I'm not going to mention their name. Yeah. Hi. That this corporation went after some bloggers because they said some, some things about them, some damning information, and they proceeded to virtually terrorize, cyber harass, and with the intent of destroying them, and um, maybe helping set a precedence for other people that are gang stalked, which is what they did. They gang stalked these people, which in the story, it provides the possible repercussions, such as many of them were 5 years and $250,000 fines. Some of them were linked with conspiracy of 2 or more individuals. That was 20 years and $250,000 fine. So it leads you to understand that gang stalking is not is not condoned. It's not something you're going to get away with. If you get caught, you're not going to just walk away and, not be reprimanded. Anyway, as it is, you can have a small group of individuals that are perpetrating this against you, or a large group, which I have right here on YouTube, that are perpetrating it. Um, they'll gather, conspire, and send minions in to harass you into your chat while you're sitting here representing your information. They'll have them tell you to remove your content and threaten you. You personally were in here one night, Si, when they were doing exactly that, and they presented threats to you personally, and you were just sitting in the chat. So if you think these people aren't, perpetrating these crimes, all you got to do is look at my chat and you'll see it. They feel they're able to do whatever they want to whoever they want, whenever they want, and however they want, like it's a joke or something. Anyway, I like I said, I presented some links for you in the description that you can click on and go read for yourself. I've already read a few of them. I don't need to read them all. I already know them. But you have to keep in mind gathering evidence and presenting that evidence is gonna get, is gonna get them on you even more. I mean, for the longest time, I didn't really have people come in here, and didn't have anybody come in here and tell me to remove my videos because, they're tired of hearing them. But since I have been doing what I can to raise awareness on gang stalking and actually get something done in repercussion to the people involved, the harassment intensifies in a different manner. The V2K is still ongoing all the time, not as pervasive as usual, but the remote neuromonitoring and the sleep deprivation and the overall virtual terrorism, which they present to you while you're sleeping. If you have any idea what I mean by that, which is the presentation of what you would call fake dreams. As you sleep, when you're in the REM state and you're dreaming, generally you don't wake up and have a vivid, lucid interpretation of what you dreamed. These are different, since these are planted representations and subliminal instructions, whatever, manipulation. You have a vivid memory of these because it's not an actual dream. It's an implanted scenario, and a lot of times the perpetrators input themselves in the scenario. Now, all the while, they're recording this in the hopes of, presenting it someday or during their stream to conjugate an issue for you, or conjure up more followers to comply with their hate for you, or whatever their ruination of your character, your life per se. Anyway, just like P-Brain here, I don't know how else to put it. I'm tired of hearing his crap. None of those links are fake. The only thing he's succeeding in doing is, reinforcing what I'm saying here by coming in here and saying all that stuff all the time, every time I'm live. Um, and I would take them at their word, Si, that now they're going to be watching you too, even more, because you're patronizing my videos and showing up here. Um, there's no reason why they wouldn't. Um, since you have already in the past, and even in your own on your own channel, presented yourself as a target, they don't have a problem with extending the fingers of the Hydra over to you. Um, with regard to the multiple people conspiring to, defame you or whatever, shame you, whatever their, agenda of the day is, you have to maybe expect that. But I don't know. I haven't asked you or seen any indication on your videos myself personally that you yourself were experiencing remote neural monitoring. Si, are you experiencing that, or B2K? And that is a directed question. You don't have to answer. You can, if you want to decline to answer, just put a 2 up. So I at least know you decline and are still listening. But I will go back a couple videos. Someone came in here and left a comment about that, you know, my hair was a wig, and that I was using this screen to present like it was daytime as a fake, that I wasn't really smoking, and blah blah blah, basically calling me a fake. Well, that's part of their defaming process. It's no fun, is it, Si? Well, I get it 24. I get it 24/7. Um, but now I am not particularly certain that it is exactly like Audio Spotlight, but it it presents itself as similar to what Audio Spotlight is, which you can look at the TED Talks of the person who actually invented Audio Spotlight, how he talks about it and gives it a shiny, happy representation as though it would be useful. And he represents what it would be useful for as like how they used it in Afghanistan against terrorists in Afghanistan, where they would whisper in their ear how, this is God, da 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 da, turn around, you don't want to do this, blah blah blah. But that that aspect of being gang stalked is really not, it is taxing, and it is annoying, and it is exhausting, but it in no shape or form is as damaging as remote neural monitoring is, because through remote neural monitoring, that's where they steal your intellectual property, um, where they create instances where they can, you know, try and make you appear like a monster, where they, because they're using your visual cortex, which is basically like, you in a movie, like, let's say, uh, the movie, Being John Malkovich. That's basically, in a sense, how it works. How they can, you know, feel like they're you looking at something, doing this, that, and the other thing. And it doesn't matter how bizarre or crazy it is. They can, I mean, anything you can imagine, they can make it appear as though you're doing it using remote neural monitoring. Now, the aspects of the remote neural monitoring are such that they are connected to your nervous system, your visual cortex, your auditory nerves, and can cause you pain. They can give you euphoria. They can do pretty much anything like that. They can, um, cause you to see things that aren't actual true things that you're seeing or doing. And like I said, they'll implant themselves in the virtual movie, whatever. And they aren't actually touching you. Apparently, you're talking about how it feels like when feels like someone's touching you, Big Brother. Like you'll feel something as though someone's actually touching you. No, they're not actually touching you. They're It's a representation of them actually touching you. Like I said, they're connected to your nervous system, which they can make you feel pain, make you feel horny, make you not feel horny, make you feel sick, nauseous, make you happy, make you sad, because connected. They're connected to you. Yeah, it feels real. I know it feels real, but it's not. Well, you're not gonna see anybody on camera because there's no one actually there. It's it's all being presented to you inside of you. I mean, it, your body basically is a sensory apparatus for your brain to understand your surroundings. Your visual cortex, your auditory cortex, your auditory nerves, and your sensory nerves that control feeling, and touch and pain. That's all in your head. Your body just sends those pulses to your brain, and your brain understands them and sorts them out. So if they're directly connected to, I think it's your hippocampus or your medulla oblongata, whichever one that controls that basically um, translates what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you feel. And then there's the other aspects of your emotions, which is an entirely different part of the brain. But still, it's all in your brain. And them using the brain to computer interface, they can manipulate all that. Well, you need to gather evidence, though. You need to actually have some sort of tangible evidence, whether it be recording V2K, having actual text threats like I have right here on my chat here, text threats on your phone, hacks to your devices, things like that, or actual video evidence of being like harassed on the street. And I mean actual harassment, like where they're actually threatening you, or things of that nature. Helps to have police reports. When you have someone assault you, get a police report, or at least call 911 so there's an actual recording of you providing the report on it. Should you go to court, you can have your lawyer subpoena their phone records. You can have them subpoena their internet traffic, anything they've done on their computers, and they'll do that. They can do that. They can track all that. It's all archived, every bit of it. They may have to go through the person's internet provider, but everything you ever do on your device, everything that is linked to your computer's identification number, your IP, is all archived. It's all archived. Every bit of it. And the reason that is because maybe one day the FBI needs to get in contact with them about, what has Joe Blow done on the internet that we can track. And they can track it all, every bit of it. If you have actual, like I have, I mean, granted, I haven't been able to actually pull it enough up to where it's just absolutely clear what they're saying on V2K that I've recorded on my tablet here. But like, let's say when I'm sitting here and I'm not saying a single word, this microphone doesn't seem to pick it up. At least for me. I don't know. I don't go back. I haven't went back a lot of my videos when when I spent time sitting here in quiet to say how, to show how the room is quiet when I'm doing a recording. But um, I have in real time a couple times used my tablet on a live to record the V2K and play it back for people right in front of them. That, I'm not speaking, I'm not doing anything, but there's the V2K going on. That's, being broadcast, you know, focused into here using the whatever devices they're using to do it. As it goes, I've tried to uh, make it known that it's not all networks on cell towers. It doesn't have anything to do with your internet. It might have to do with some Wi-Fi. It might have in conjunction with each other at times, Wi-Fi, your your cell towers, but in general, it most likely has to be satellite based because I've brought this up before. There was a power outage in the entire neighborhood, and there was no lights anywhere, no power anywhere, and yet the V2K still continued. And I did some research on, as far as cell towers, how um, they will not broadcast in a power outage unless, of course, that company is, there will be a lull at least, even if they have a backup on the cell towers for broadcast. But generally, as a rule, they do not operate in a power outage because, they have to have power to have the Wi-Fi to run the 5G, LTE, whatever. But I looked at Verizon, which is a major company that has a hell of a lot of cell towers, and it basically said in a power outage, you will lose connection unless, of course, you're in one of the provided areas where the backup brings it back up. But there will be a time where there is no connection, where you're not getting any network because there's no power to the cell towers to broadcast the network. But a satellite will not have that issue because they're not connected to the grid. They're running off of their onboard batteries or solar energy that they're collecting. But I have researched a little bit as far as the timeline to when this technology became more pervasive, and it was around the time that Facebook and Starlink were, sent up there with sending up the free Wi-Fi for the world. Now, granted, these companies might not have a clue that, that they're piggybacking these signals on their Wi-Fi or on their network. But the reality is in 2019, when Starlink was first sent up there with like the first few hundred satellites or whatever he put up there, the pervasiveness of V2K and remote neural monitoring increased. More targets were able to be reached on a continuous basis. No need for line of sight after that. Every day, well, in here in my channel they do. They've actually came in here and told me to remove my content. Talking about, I don't know, I don't believe how you went under the wire, under the radar so long, and they were threatening me about coming and burning my house down because I'm talking about it. Right here on one of my videos. So, that constitutes a reality right there. They're willing to come in here and threaten me on my channel when I'm just talking about this. Talking about my targeting and other people's being targeted. And it might be because I'm presenting evidence that, is damning to them about gang stalking. Actually had actual neighbors that are involved in this that actually came and assaulted me in conjunction with my harassment. But I'm not going to stop. Not going to stop trying to present the evidence and raise the awareness about gang stalking and targets, regardless. And that's just it. It's all designed to create fear, shame, defamation, and a conspiracy for others to be coerced into going along with their game. It's not really a game, but for lack of a better word, I should just say with their terrorism, because that's what it is. It's terrorism. As you said it earlier, Cy, they terrorize you. B2K, they terrorize you on the street. Intimidation. I've had people follow me. I know one particular person that was following me. Yeah, not going fishing, buddy. Not really my buddy, but we're not going fishing, dude. Anyway, I have another question for Cy here. Have they been being pervasive into your dreams? Have they been using that function on you yet? Sleep deprivation and that? If you're still in here. I know you say they're giving you the V2K, so it's most likely that they're using a remote. The remote neural monitoring goes along with the V2K. Even if you don't know that you're being monitored. Even if they're being quiet, if you're being targeted, you're being monitored with remote neural monitoring. Which is, they don't need cameras. They don't need microphones in your home. They don't need any of that, because the remote neural monitoring is 10 times better than that, because they can watch you as you formulate a thought. They see everything you're looking at, everything you're thinking, everything you're going to say, using remote neural monitoring. They don't need cameras. They don't need a microphone. They don't need to have a dude pointing a parabolic and microphone at your house. They don't need none of that, because they're in your house. They're in your head, watching and listening to everything you're hearing, you're seeing, watching TV with you. If you don't believe it, you can look at those links. That's what the devices do. Um, the devices were initially um, imagined in the 60s. Um, they were created later between then and the 70s. Well, the technology is so much more advanced now. That's like the the computer that ran the Apollo rocket compared to your supercomputer laptop you're looking at today. The way technology advances. How did they get your channel taken down? I will say this: your name doesn't imply that you're a target, though. Not No offense. I have no idea. Um, well, Big Brother. I mean, it's not saying watched by Big Brother. You're presenting yourself as Big Brother. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I'm just saying your name implies that by saying Big Brother. Big Brother watching you. That's all I'm saying. But according to your chat, though, you are a target. You understand what I mean there? I think you do anyway. Well, what do you mean, freedom fighter? You were just talking about it and you hurt somebody's feeties and they reported you, or what? Or was your content um, representing that? Because people reporting you doesn't actually get you the strike. YouTube going in and looking at your content is what gets you the strike. So what's wrong with you organizing Zoom meetings to talk with other targets about maybe trying to do something about this? I don't understand how that could be a problem. Oh, yeah, the moderators. Yeah, I see. So they contended that some of your verbiage was hate speak, right? Well, I will say this: they on B2K they call me Schwarzenegger. Maybe it's because my name's Schmier and it's a German sounding name. Not Austrian, but anyway. Really? And what do you have people talking about their experiences or what? Well, that's another thing that they've been trying to do to me to perpetuate that I'm gay or something like that. But that's not all they try and do. But anyway, whenever people talk to you, they get hypnotized, huh? How's that? Are you a mentalist or something? Do you have like hypnotoad eyes or something or what? Little swirlies going on in your eyeballs? How do they get hypnotized? One moment, I have to go, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let me look at the post here. Uh, okay. Continuing with your topic of, as you're saying, body snatching or hypnosis. Um, the links I provided, I don't know if they present um that aspect of the remote neural monitoring. Um, but there are pages with literature on the abilities of the remote neural monitoring where the user, the monitor or whatever, the person running the apparatus or app or whatever they're using, um, in a subliminal fashion can manipulate individuals and have them say things that they don't remember. Um, they can affect your memory, that and the other thing. Um, uh, I can't put it any clearer than that. But according to the technical journals, um, manipulation and hypnosis are part of it. But how pervasive they get with it is dependent on how hard they're actually going, against you personally. What they might want to cause you to see or feel some kind of way. But I personally have seen it in action once or twice, where they make people say things they don't remember saying or doing. But like I said, if you do the research on your own, you'll see it. You'll see it in the research. Um, some of the things they can do, they can force you to want to go to sleep. They can force you to stay awake. Um, they can even cause you to see things that aren't there sometimes, um, like a hologram. Um, they can using the V2K can make it appear that someone's saying something that they're not. Um, like they would be saying it's a very nice day, but you, the target, would hear something like, "Oh, you must be gay" or something like that. I don't know if you've experienced that. Um, but yeah, the manipulation is there. That's uh, I have to keep stressing. This is not science fiction. I mean, it. I always say it sounds like an Outer Limits episode, but it's not a TV show. Um, I I also bring up sometimes the similarities between certain movies, like They Live, where it's it's presented as with aliens, but these aren't aliens. Um, they're just bad people that are in plain sight, and they're privy to this technology that they're using against average, everyday, normal people. Um, there are various reasons why you personally are targeted. Probably, completely different to, than the other targets you might talk to. But the agenda is still the same. You either have something they wanted, some ability, or some value, or you might be just an activist that said something that went a little close to home and struck a nerve, and something that they don't want you proliferating to others. Um, you had something, like as in my case, that they wanted to steal from you, and then tried to make you look like the bad guy. In any event, their whole agenda is to make you look like you're the monster when they're victimizing you, but they want to present it like they're the victim. It's just the way it is. Well, that's with all of us. They want all TIs to look like we're crazy. And that's something else. You say they're watching you. Well, they want you to know. And the aspect of that is from something I was just reading the other day. They're going to tell you what they're going to do to you, and the reason they're going to tell you what they're doing to you and why they're doing it and how they're doing it is when and if they do get prosecuted. There's a clause in there that if someone is perpetrating a conspiracy or whatever against you, if you're unaware of it, that tacks on 10 years. But if they're blatant and forceful and tell you what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, that kind of negates that. You can look that up for yourself. I could look it up for you again and post a link as to the particulars of it. But they basically alibi themselves out of being um, um, able to be prosecuted for a certain clause that would tack 10 years onto what they're doing to you. Now, granted, they're not going to get away from the 5-year conspiracy, the coercion, um, the 20 years, $250,000 fine for terrorism, blah blah blah, harassment, this and that. But some of those are hard to prove. Even the one I'm speaking of is hard to prove. But if it is proved, they want to be able to say, "Well, look, we let him know, that we're being assholes and we're going to do this." They knew it. But that's why they pretty much inform you what they're doing and make it blatantly known, you're being spied on, you're being surveyed on, you're being harassed. Um, they're telling you. That's why they're telling you. And uh, you, you you yourself might know that anyway, freedom fighter, that every one of the targets you're talking to all know they're being targeted, and that they're blatant about it, right? That's why. One for yes, a two for no. You don't have to explain. But uh, maybe in a later video, I'll look that I'll look that literature up, and I'll post a link to it as to why they're blatantly, telling you what they're doing, and you know basically in plain sight to you, because you're the victim, and they're doing all this stuff to you, but they're telling you about it so that they block themselves out of getting nailed for 10 years for that. At least part of that's at least part of the judicial aspect that they can get themselves pardoned from in advance, because they've been warning you, they've told you, in plain sight. And that's basically kind of what these idiots are doing when they come in here and threaten me in the channel, right? Is, they're saying we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this in front of everyone. Now there are parts of it that doesn't um, release them from it. Actually, just presents a problem for them in other respects, because there's going to be 25 years and $500,000 in fines going against them anyway should they get caught. But it does help them remove themselves from that aspect, that they're doing it all in secret. you know they're conspiring in secret, coercing others in secret, but they're not going to be able to get away from that part of it through presenting you you know with what they're doing. I could look it up right now, but I'm not sure which. I'll have to find it again. I'll go through my history and find the page and link it in another video, um, as to why they're doing that. But that is the gist of it. That's why they're telling you, we're watching you. That's what we're doing. We're doing all this crap, and that's why they're telling you. Because if they didn't, that's some more jail time they could receive. But uh, uh, on on the whole, their general idea is they're trying to frame you and present you as either a criminal or a pedophile or rapist, or whatever. They're trying to build a framework around you so that in the future they can try and drop a whammy on you. That's what they're trying to do. And it's been working, because they're getting away with it, because they're still doing it, um, But through all this, they're stealing from you. They're using your identity. They're using your information, your medical records, your, you know, what whatever information they glean from you, they're using it all the time. And when they're done using it, that's when they're going to drop the whammy on you and try and get you in trouble. That's how it works. At least that's from my research and experience reading and in general cases as far as other targets goes, that they're using you until they can't monetarily gain something from you or whatever, some kind of, you know, precedence on you, whatever, and then they're going to volley with all their fabricated evidence that they've created over the term that they've been targeting you and spying on you and making up all this crap that they're spewing to everybody, that they, they sucker into believing the shit about you. And then they're gonna, and then they're gonna throw it on you after they can't steal your intellectual property anymore. They can't glean any information they can use on, and make a profit from. And then they're gonna slam you. So the reality is, if you don't try forcefully to get something done to expose them and bring it out into the light before that, sooner or later they're going to do something that's going to harm you physically, monetarily, whatever. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't until there's like a precedence set judicially, through litigation and prosecution, whatever, of gang stalkers in general, that they, that they can have a case such as proxy stalking or whatever, that that they can use in court and say, oh well, this is what's going on, this is the way it is, like let's say we're talking about judicially right now with Roe versus Wade and the abortion stuff. There was a precedent set there, right, with Roe versus Wade, and other cases followed in, were able to fall into that category and be presented in court after that precedence. That's what we need here. We need to set a precedence so that there is, a benchmark case where gang stalking was prevalent and presented and proven, and the aspects. And until that really happens, it's going to be it's hard for any targeted individual to get any kind of representation, cases filed. That's what's hard, unless of course you have concrete proof, and that's the problem. It's hard to acquire concrete proof. But one day it'll happen, though. One day it will happen. So that being said, I'm pretty much out of all I had to say about this. unless there are any questions that maybe I can answer for you from my research or experience. Or if there's anything you'd like me to research or investigate, you can let me know if you have an issue you're trying to figure out. I'm happy to do research and dig a little bit, because basically that's what I'm here for, is to help people stop gang stalking. That's what I want. I want to stop it for me and for you. But I will say, get yourself a cheap tablet and never connect it to the internet. I would recommend this RCA Endeavor 10, which was $99. And the only reason I recommend that is because it is proven to be able to record B2K. And granted, it isn't like they're in this, it isn't like the best quality to where you can hear exactly what they're saying, but through your personal interpretation and maybe through using other sound equipment, you'll be able to divulge information from it. But as the target, you're already hearing the B2K, so you can fill in the blanks. Well, that's what you need to do. You need to record. You need to record it. I mean, I'm not saying leave it running 24/7. I'm not going to do that. But I generally do it when I'm asleep, that I record it, because it's, substantially quiet in here, and there's not going to be a lot going on except for the cat and the dog running around. But as far as that goes, there's not going to be car noises from the street so much, and that and the other. But the B2K is still constant. And you can hear what they're saying as they're running their dreamscape on you while you're sleeping. That was basically my initial intent, was to be able to see what they were saying as I'm sleeping. I don't have Zoom. I'm not going to load Zoom. Do I have to load Zoom? As I've said before in many of my videos, this is the only place you're going to see me. I haven't been on anybody else's stream for 3 years now, and I kind of use that as defense, because they've been impersonating me on their streams, having somebody impersonate me and using a voice modulator to represent themselves as me and other people I know. And it's kind of a defense mechanism I'm using, that this is the only place you're going to see me, right here. But if you were to invite me, I would join your stream if you were to invite me. I'm not going to go just hop in of my own accord. If you understand what I'm getting at. I need to let my dog in 1 second. Now, the reason I say that is because that's kind of part of my defense. I'm not going on other people's streams, and they keep saying that, I'm on their stream while I'm asleep, or while I'm not even on the internet. I mean, for 6 months or so, I didn't even have internet, and my computer had been hacked, and I wasn't online at all. But they were posting videos right here on YouTube, um, using old recorded stuff from me being on a comic program I used to frequent on, and other art programs I used to frequent, being a guest on, and using Google Hangouts. And somebody was using a Batman icon, and then they would show me drawing my picture of Han and Chewie, which is my icon right here that I drew. I'll show it to you. That's that picture I drew, that icon of when Han and Chewie first came into the Millennium Falcon and said, "We're home." That's that scene right there, and I drew a picture of that. I don't mess with WhatsApp, and I don't mess with WhatsApp or Discord anymore. Haven't been on there for a long time, but I've never been on WhatsApp. I think I started an account there one time and never used it, long time ago. But I do have a Twitter. I have my Twitter that I deactivated, that I'm can't get back, but I don't want it back. But I have a Twitter right now. It's at Schmear Scott, and I'm only following 4 people on there, and they aren't even really people. It's SpaceX, Tesla, ABC News, and someone else. I've never seen Telegram. Who's the parent company for that? Who runs Telegram? But here I'll if you want to link me to your channel, I'll subscribe to you so I can see some of your stuff. And maybe one day I'll join your Zoom. Like I said, I don't have Zoom installed or anything. And if I don't have to install it, I don't want to. But if it works like StreamYard, how you can post a link and a person can just pop in. But okay. Let me go ahead and do that. I'll link to your page right now. Okay. Bunches of them. That's gonna make it hard. um, could you link it in a comment, maybe? Because I typed that up there in the search, and it doesn't really. It shows up a bunch of other stuff. Like maybe in a previous video or whatever, or after this one, because I'm going to go ahead and probably end this stream right now. If you want to just link me in comments, or if you want, you can message me on Facebook. Scott L. Schmear, that's me on Facebook. We could talk in Messenger. I wasn't seeing it. I saw a bunch of stuff on Benson, but I didn't see anything. I didn't really look very well, but you could either just pop a link in the comment after I end the stream, or message me on Facebook. And, but I think I'm going to end this stream for today. Thanks for coming out, and yeah, I'll look forward to seeing you again, Freedom Fighter, and everybody else in here. Oh, that's your Twitter link. Okay. I'll look forward on Twitter then. Have a good day. Thanks for coming.